Dear friends, I'm Ben Hubby, Savannah family practitioner, asking you to help me rescue my mother from lawlessness in Connecticut, where she lives, that darkens the state's prospects to attract new businesses, that won't come into the state unless the rule of law is always upheld. Kingsley and Frank Hubby put roots down in East Lyme, Connecticut in the late 1940s. They were a highly popular couple for their love of friends and support of causes like the Lawrence and Memorial Hospital in New London. Mom solved London Times crosswords. She was an exhibited painter in the Lyme Museum, but arrangements that she and Daddy put together for their late years fell apart from verbal abuse, conflict of interest in Mom's legal representation, and chaos. A relative with power of attorney threatened to send Mom to a nursing home just because he was mad at a caretaker. Frightened out of her wits, Mom revoked the relative's power of attorney. So he sent his lawyer to meet Mom, and lo and behold, on that day, he became Mom's lawyer too. The fox was in the chicken coop, and this is forbidden in every state in the United States. When I went up to see my mother to find out how I could straighten up the mess in her life, the lawyer was waiting for me. He kept in force the power of attorney that Mom just revoked, because he was in her life to help somebody else at the expense of her security. I asked the lawyer for privacy so I could speak to Mom alone. She was 98 and had trouble remembering what was said to her. I just wanted to get one sentence out. Mom, there are a lot of things going wrong in your life, which I'd like to fix by becoming your guardian. And here came the lawyer to interrupt. Mrs. Hubby, I wanted to make sure that you're comfortable speaking to your son, Ben. I was shocked by the meanness of this, and my mom was taken way off balance, which was the purpose of the question. I took Mom into the living room, but telephone calls came in from relatives, orchestrated, I believe, by the lawyer, to interrupt Mom's rescue from a terrible cruelty that was imposed upon her. Elder exploitation is so common in Connecticut that there's a book about it called Granny Snatching by Ronald Winter. The present and past attorneys general said there was nothing they could do, although attorney generals in all states have power to intervene when there's systemic breakdown of law. That's exactly what they're there for. When I asked Governor Malloy to stand for the rule of law in my mother's rescue, his chief of staff told me this was inappropriate. When their states sanction exploitation of elders and denial of due process, it's appropriate for the governor to insist on application of law for every person in his state. The leaders of Connecticut wrote their chapter in this case by certifying exploitation of my mother was nothing special, though because of it she lost the life she once enjoyed. The lawyers wrote their chapter, having empowered exploiters and having used law to defeat the elders' rescue, though Mom was made to pay for the privileges. Everyone can write a new chapter to give hope. Governor Malloy can stand with my mother and me for the rule of law and Mom's rescue. He can call a special session of the legislature to pass tough legal reform, as prescribed by Professor John Langbine of Yale, so that what happened to my mother will never happen to any Connecticut elder ever again. The lawyers, one of which pretends to represent Mom right now while trying to trip me up, should give an accounting of what they've done and how the law was so misused against this elder. In empathy for my mother and for themselves when very old, the lawyers may resolve to practice law in a new way and lead reform in Connecticut so elder exploitation will cease. In honor, they can atone and recompense. The Attorney General can investigate why this elder was allowed to be exploited in Connecticut and why the law on the books was withheld from her rescue, which was a legal crime. Leaders, lawyers, officials, neighbors, and people of Connecticut, write a new chapter in your lives so the state you love may advance. Go to Facebook or change.org. Look up Ben Hubby, H-U-B-B-Y, and sign the petition for Connecticut Governor Malloy to stand for the rule of law for Kingsley Hubby and tough legal reform in Connecticut. Godspeed.